The next four pieces are all choreographed by Rudolf Steiner, and they all happen to be about various types of nature spirits. And the first one is actually a German poem. You're going to hear it in German, about a water nymph, a nixie. And she dances on the ice under the light of the full moon. And as she passes the fisherman's house, she scolds him because he's always bothering her fish that she cares for. But she does like the fisherman's daughter because she's a very nice young lady. And so she says she will give the daughter a wonderful wedding present when she gets married. It's going to be a fish made of silver. It's actually made by the gnome goldsmiths, the master goldsmiths of the gnomes back in King Arthur's time. And it's very unusual because once a year it sheds its scales. And then you have a whole pile of silver coins lying there. Quite a nice wedding present. Die Nixe Binsefuß von Eduard Mörike. Des Wassermanns sein Töchterlein tanzt auf dem Eis im Vollmondschein. Sie singt und lachet sonderscheu wohl an des Fischers Haus vorbei. Ich bin die Jungfer Binsefuß und meine Fisch wohl hüten muss. Meine Fisch, die sind im Kasten, sie haben kalte Fasten. Von Böhmerglas mein Kasten ist, da zähl ich sie zu jeder Frist. Geld, Fischermatz, Geld, alter Tropf, dir will der Winter nicht in Kopf. Komm mir mit deinen Netzen, die will ich schön zerfetzen. Dein Mäglein zwar ist fromm und gut, ihr Schatz ein braves Jägerblut. Drum häng ich ihr zum Hochzeitsstrauß ein Schilfenkränzlein vor das Haus und einen Hecht von Silber schwer. Er stammt von König Artus her. Ein Zwergen-Goldschmieds-Meisterstück. Wer's hat, dem bringt es eitel Glück. Er lässt sich schuppen Jahr für Jahr. Da sind's 500 Gröschlein bar. Ade, mein Kind, ade für heut. Der Morgenhahn im Dorfe schreit. three pieces are all from Shakespeare's play, The Midsummer Night's Dream. Just a reminder, Oberon, king of the fairies, is very jealous because his queen, Titania, has taken a very good-looking young man into her entourage, and she won't give him up because she likes him very much. And so Oberon decides to take revenge, and he knows of a plant that was hit by a stray arrow of Cupid's. And because of that, if you squeeze the juice of this plant onto somebody's eyelids while they're sleeping, they fall head over heels in love with the first thing they look on when they wake up. And so, he knows that Titania is going to be sleeping in the forest, and he wants to put this juice on her eyelids, and he hopes that she'll wake up and see some creature like a hedgehog or something and fall in love with it. But, of course, things turn out differently, and the first thing she sees when she wakes up is the joiner, I believe, or one of the craftsmen who happens to have an ass's head on his shoulders, and she falls in love with him. The part you're going to see right now is the so-called fairies' lullaby, where the fairies are preparing the space that Titania is going to sleep in, and they try to cast a spell to keep out all evil things out of that space. We know it's not going to work, but it's worth a try. The Fairies' Lullaby from The Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. You spotted snakes with double tongue, thorny hedgehogs, be not seen. Newts and blind worms do no wrong, come not near our fairy queen. Philomel with melody, sing in our sweet lullaby. Lullaby, lullaby. Never harm, nor spell, nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh. So, good night with lullaby. Weaving spiders, come not here, hence, you long-legged spinners, hence. Beetles black, approach not near, worm nor snail, do no offence. Philomel with melody, sing in our sweet lullaby. Lullaby, lullaby. Never harm, nor spell, nor charm, come our lovely lady nigh. So, good night with lullaby. So now, there are not only fairies about in the woods in the Midsummer Night's Dream, but there is also Puck, who is servant of Oberon, and who's always up to all sorts of tricks and nonsense. And I have to just say a few words about Rudolf Steiner's choreography, because he did this in very interesting ways. For instance, when he choreographed music, he had somebody play the piece. As they were playing, he sat down and just drew the form, and when the piece was over, the form was there, and that was it. And then he also gave all sorts of indications for costuming and for lighting and for different movements that happen in the piece. The lighting here probably won't show you the exact way Rudolf Steiner had intended it. We'd need a more complicated lighting system, but you can get a little bit of an idea of that. So now this is Huck in the forest. Either I mistake your shape and making quite, or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow. Are you not he? Thou speak'st aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile, when I a fat and bean-fed horse beguile, neighing in the likeness of a filly foal. And sometime lurk I in a gossip's bowl, in the very likeness of a roasted crab. And when she drinks, against her lips I bob, and on her withered dewlap pour the ale. The wisest and telling the saddest tale, sometime for 3-foot stool mistaketh me. Then slip I from her bum, down topples she, and Taylor cries, and falls into a cough. And then the whole choir hold their hips and laugh, and waxen in their mirth and knees, and swear a merrier hour was never wasted there. But room, fairy, here comes Oberon. Finally, from the Midsummer Night's Dream, a fairy song. Over hill, over dale, through bush, through briar, over park, over pale, through flood, through fire, I do wander everywhere, swifter than the moon is sphere. And I serve the fairy queen to do her orbs upon the green. The cowslips tall her pensioners be. In their gold coats spots you see. Those be rubies, fairy favors. In those freckles live their savors. I must go seek some dewdrops here and hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear. So now we have two pieces left to round out the program, and the first is a poem by Theodor Rudolph. Let me say this about it. At the moment, I have 3 11th graders at home, and they are all thinking about senior projects. I would imagine you have senior projects here too.
No. Soon.
No.
Soon.
Soon. Well, let me tell you, senior projects are very exciting because the students choose a theme or a topic, anything they want, and they work on it independently next to all the rest of their studies for the whole senior year. And then toward the end of the year, they give a presentation on it. And it's amazing to see how many varied subjects come up. I've heard talk in my household of learning to build a cabin, or to do massage, or to buy an old delivery van and fix it up to live in, and then travel across the country after the end of school. And many other things come up. And it's wonderful to see how many directions our activity can go in as human beings. Think for a moment of how it is for the chickens. They cackle, and they peck, and they lay eggs, and that's about it. And when you look at the newborn chick, you know that that's what it's going to do when it grows up. How nice to be human and to be able to choose yourself what you're going to do. The next piece is actually about an animal that decides to break out of the mold, decides to do things differently, and the results are not overly encouraging. The Serpent by Theodor Rudolph. There was a serpent who had to sing. There was. He simply gave up serpenting because he didn't like his kind of life. He couldn't find the proper wife. He got no pleasure down his hole. He was a serpent with a soul. And so, of course, he had to sing. And sing he did, like anything. The birds, they were astounded. And various measures they propounded to stop the serpent's awful racket. They bought a drum. He wouldn't whack it. They sent, you always send to Cuba, and got a most commodious tuba. They got a horn, they got a flute, but nothing did that serpent suit. He said, "Look, birds, all this is futile. I do not like to bang or tootle." And then he cut loose with a horrible note that practically split the top of his throat. You see, he said with a serpent's leer, I'm serious about my singing career. And the woods resounded with many a shriek, and the birds flew off to the end of next week. Now, in a moment, we're going to end with some music by Johannes Brahms.